Hello, my name is Michael Golden. I'm the author of Poker Journal. Just a quick introduction to the demo. The demo actually had to be broken up into two parts due to its length. So this is part one of two, and I hope you will go ahead and watch part two of two once this is finished. And I hope you enjoy Poker Journal. Hello, my name is Michael Golden. I am the developer of Poker Journal for the iPhone and the iPod Touch, and I'd like to give you a little demo. So we're going to open up Poker Journal. This is version 1.5, which should be available as a free update on the App Store as we speak. Opens up and we've got the overview. The overview is just combines cash games and tournaments. Lets you see your total numbers there. We can see some charts we may look at later. Just to go real quickly through it, through the tabs, we've got cash games. And this has a lot of statistics and charts for cash games. Then we've got the tournament overview. Again, statistics and charts for the tournaments. Setup. Setup is where you set up all your different places you play, games you play, the stakes you play, the locations and types you play at, the different tournament types, your initial bankroll, and lets you set your defaults. For example, I've got these set up as my defaults: no limit hold'em, sit and go on full tilt for 550 for tournaments, and I've got different defaults for cash games, which is limit dealer's choice, $3 max at my house with generally a $50 buy-in is how I want to default when I create a new game. Of course, once I create the game, we can change it, but that's just where it defaults to. Lastly, we can manage our data in here, which lets us export data. You can export your different data to which format you'd like for either filtered games, and we'll talk about that, or all your games, cash games, tournaments, or both. And then you can back up your data into a unique format via email that will allow you to restore data from that backup to this or a different iPhone or iPod Touch device. You can also have some tools for purging data off of your device should you get there. So let's go to cash games and look at the overview. Cash game overview is made up of some navigation up top, some statistics in a scrolling window here, and a chart. That chart can either be by session or by date. The date will break it up by year, etc. And session is just a unique one data point for each game played. From here we can go look at our list view. The list shows you all the games you've got entered. It shows you your date, your time, your location, what the game is, in other words your limit, stake, and game, and whether or not you made money or didn't make money. You can sort that by most recent to oldest, or oldest to most recent, depending however you like here. Just tapping that arrow. I'm at a funny angle, so I won't always hit it right. From here we can go back to the overview, of course, or we can create a new game. When you create a new game, it asks if you want to create a live game or a completed game. The completed game means you've finished the game, you've done it. All you do is it defaults to your defaults. It defaults to now, so you go set up when your game was, how much you cashed out from the table, and how long you played, and notes if you want to, and you can hit save. I'm just going to cancel that since I don't want to create it. A live game, though, is a lot more fun. So as soon as you sit down to play a game, you say live game, and here's the starting stuff, and you say let's save and start the game. So now that game's right on top here. We went right to it, and we can go look in the list. It'll always be on the top. No matter how you sort your list, it'll always be on top in gray, and it'll say it's a live game. It'll show you your actual current running time. This play time is flashing. That means you're sitting there, you're playing. The counter is rolling. The timer's rolling, and say you want to go take a break, you can just tell that you're leaving the table, tap leave the table, and then once you do, your break timer will start counting up. We'll come back and do that in a little bit. Let's let that counter go as if we're sitting playing at a game. Meanwhile, we can keep looking at other stuff. You can have more than one live game going if you want to. Say you're playing online and you're on a couple different tables. You can certainly start up more than one live game at a time. Back at the overview, There's some really interesting stuff we can do here. First of all, we can filter our data. What we can do is based on any of these criteria, which is like, let's see, when it started, the length of the game, the day of the week, the location type, the location, stakes, limit type, game date, etc. We can say, okay, let's just day of week. Well, when we look at day of week, we can see the number of games played on each day of the week. And I can say, let's filter our data, only look at Tuesday's games. Now, you can also add these up and say Tuesday's games whose stakes were 1, 2. All right, and now we'll hit set filters. Calculates for a minute. It shows you what those filters are, and it shows you there are 16 games that are being filtered and that you have one live game going. So what we now show you are the statistics for that set of data, which is different, of course, than all your games. Here's your chart for that set of data. Here are your statistics, your hourly rate, your average lost, winning streak, when only viewed with that set of data. Again, we can go back to filters, and we can go back here and say reset all, and we're back to all the games. The other thing we have on the overview is the reports. And the reports are kind of like filters, although they work hand in hand with the filters, in that whatever data you're looking at, you can generate a report for. So just like we filtered the data for Tuesday, well, what we can actually do is say, give me a day of week report. I'm going to view the report. And now we're still in that overview. It's just we've scrolled down here to the report. And within that report, we have another scrolling area that you use this little guy to scroll. And what you see is each day of the week broken up, and how many games you played, and the statistics for each day. And you can look at each day's, how much you play on each day, but you can also look at your hourly rate, your average per hour, some other interesting statistics that may help you figure out how to make more money playing poker. You can export this report either in CSV or tab separated format. What it does in h.o.r.s.e now is it pops up an email within the app, and it'll send this as an attachment. If you're still using 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, it's going to launch the email app and send the data that way. But I strongly recommend you update to 3.0, as this is a much better experience. The attachments can't get changed by email servers, so they're much more reliable to get this data over to your device. Notice when we leave the email, we're still in the app. We just popped it up on top. That's one of the new features 3.0 allowed us to have. So if we want, we can change the report type. Let's look at session length report. No, let's go to session start shift. So we'll view the report. And start shift is the 3 general casino shifts, which is 10 to 6, 6 to 2, and then 2 to 10 a.m. It shows you how many games you've played in each of those shifts. This is when the game started, not when it ended, but certainly when it started. And, you know, you could look at your data and say, well, if you look at this, the games you played between 10 and 6, you made $10,000 on. The game you played between 6 and 2, you made $3,400, and you played you actually played more in the swing shift games. Your hourly rate's 139 versus 44. It just gives you some different views of your data. If you look through it, look at your trends, look at your data. You can even filter the data for this chart. So just like we filtered before, let's just go back to stakes, and now we'll say, let's just show me the 1-2 games. And it automatically updates the report and shows you within these filters, within these days. So it's a way to quickly compare many different parameters. You can look at all the locations you play in a long list. You can look at all the different location types, meaning online, home, casino, any types that you set up, as a matter of fact. I'm going to reset the filters. All right, that's the end of part 1, but it continues right on non-stop at part 2. If you go find Poker Journal part 2 demo, you will find it, and I hope you'll go watch the rest of it. There's more to see, and I hope you enjoy Poker Journal.